Hey, what's going on, guys? How you doing? Pleasure to have you. And for all those that are requesting, thank you for the requests to jump up here. But for now, we're going to wait until the end to accept any questions you guys may have. So please pardon me if I exclude you from the requests. Thanks again, everybody. And what's up, Digital Treasure? What's happening?
What is going on? How are we doing today?
Hey, good man, good man. Pleasure to talk. What's going on? Nice. Matt, what's up, Matt?
Yo, Jam, happy Thursday, everyone. Pleasure to be here. Excited to get into it and meet all the new folks.
Woo-wee! It's going to be fun. There's going to be a lot of fun things to talk about in the RWA space. Pleasure to have you, Matt. Thanks for joining us. William, what's up, William? How you doing?
Doing good. I'm glad to be back. I'm trying to break a record for consecutive times on the spaces for your platform, so happy to be here and meet some more new people.
Let's go. Love William. Thanks for joining, man. Always love your insights. All right, let's bring Ben up here from Knockapad. Super stoked to have Knockapad. They got some killer things going on. I'm not sure if you guys have checked them out, but they are cooking up a storm over there. What's up, Ben? Hey,
Yeah, I was on a
hey.
meeting and I just realized, oh damn, there's a Tris Vegas going on, so I had to cut the meeting short and jump on here.
Nice. One thing after the next. There's no time to waste.
No, really, I like the past 2 weeks, so I'm just pretty much fully booked all day. It's unreal.
Nice. Well, I don't doubt it. I see like an update on your Twitter like every 5 seconds. So that must be you.
Yeah, we have a big KOL push now going on.
Yeah, I saw that $1 million bounty program for KOLs. That's sick.
Yeah, we onboarded over 100 KOLs actually, and it's going really well actually. We specified that all the KOLs have to write it in their own words, and there's some really creative KOLs actually. They wrote some great content. Actually, I'm a little bit jealous because some of them are a little bit too good. Like as a CM, I'm like, damn, why didn't I think of that?
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great way to bring in those people, and also the Solid Proof partnership. Projects being able to use Solid Proof as like a discounted price. That's awesome
Huge.
with the
Yeah,
Launchpad. Just
yeah,
just getting everything together. Perfect unison of resources.
yeah. That's the thing. I mean, all our partnerships, we have a deal with them. So any project launching with us, they're going to be able to avail of discounts for any service providers we have. So it's really good.
Sounds like a pretty solid deal.
Yeah, it's literally a win for everybody, for us, for the projects, for the service providers, because obviously we help them we help to connect them to really well vetted, strong business use case projects. Um, these projects launching with us, they're instantly connected to the best service providers in the space, and then obviously the NACAPAC community benefits from that. So we are really proud of what we developed here so far.
Super random side note, Knockapad, I'd love to connect with you after this in the DMs. Potentially have someone that you guys can do a discovery call with.
Yeah, perfect. Let's do it. Sounds amazing.
Sweet, thanks.
Delightful guys. Love the collaborations from the beginning. That's what this space is all about. That's how we got together. So, again, thanks everybody for joining. I'm Eric with Web3M. Pleasure to have everybody here, everybody that's joining to listen. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the comments, or at the end, you guys can request to speak. But until the end, if you could please wait to request to speak, that would be very helpful to me, and that'd be awesome. Um, so we'll get right into it, guys. We have a few people that are probably are going to filter into the speaker panel as we go, but that's okay. We won't wait for them because I'm excited to talk about RWA. We got Knockapad, we got Digital Treasure, we got Matt here, all William, all awesome minds in the RW space, and they got some killer insights they're going to bring. So I'm not going to bring the insights. I'm going to let these guys do it. They're the professionals. So if you guys could just do a quick little intro about yourself, who you are, and what your company's doing. So Ben, if you'd start, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, perfect. Actually, one second. I have to answer a quick message. I'll let somebody else speak, and then I can jump on after. I have so many messages going in.
I'm happy to go. I can go if you want.
Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
So yeah, I'm here representing the Forge. We're talking about RWAs. So the Forge DeFi is a project looking to bridge an already existing revenue generating private equity real estate company on chain. Our founder does private equity real estate in the greater Boston area in the US, and we're looking to build a lending protocol on chain to help access global liquidity. And I'm the head of community over there, so happy to be here. And I guess about myself, like I've been working in crypto for about 3.5 years now, all marketing. And I do everything from, I've helped people come to market, go to market strategies, talking about KOLs. I'm a bit of a KOL myself nowadays, I guess, like really weird, but I love talking on spaces and hosting spaces. So this is like my bread and butter here. Yeah, just pretty much, I think that's it. I'm just going to stop there.
Nice. Well, if all you haven't had a chance to hear Matt, he's been on a lot of major spaces with Mario Newfall and all these awesome places. So definitely go give him a follow. He's always dropping awesome information. Thanks, Matt. And Digital Treasure, Sean, what's up, brother?
What's going on? Good morning, everybody. So my name is Sean. I am the CEO and founder of Digital Treasure. Our application aims to revert the advertisement fatigue that is commonly associated with traditional marketing strategies, the new digital marketing strategies. And we came up and conceptualized a new way of marketing through interactive scavenger hunts. So this brings an interactive, immersive experience for the user and businesses alike to get that more one-on-one, face-to-face time that everybody's longing for and is the end point and the ultimate goal of any business or any kind of company or corporation that wants to get that face-to-face time that they're actually longing for from their users and consumers.
Oh, just awesome. Digital Treasure is one of my newfound favorite projects that I'm really glad that I got to talk to Sean the other day. Just think about like Pokemon Go on steroids for businesses, basically.
Exactly, Eric. And I do appreciate you bringing me up here. I've been on one of your spaces in the past, man, and it was a lot of fun. There's really good intellectual conversations that happen on these spaces, man. Really good insight, a lot of expertise, and some heavy hitters in the space. This is the innovation. This is the time where all of these utility projects need to be positioning themselves, because this is the bull run that I think is going to really set off everything to getting that Web3, Web2 integration and start pushing everybody in the direction of taking crypto more seriously, DeFi, and then just the Web3 space in general. This is the time. This is exactly the time. You look at all the ETFs that are coming out, all these big companies, all these big corporations, the hedge funds, the assets that are pouring in, and all these different approvals to the government. They're taking it more seriously now, and I think they tried to defeat it for long enough, and they realize they can't. So the last step is they're going to have to join us. And since we're already in here, we are poised to freaking win. And I'm excited.
Man, you always get me hyped.
Let's
Every
go,
time
baby.
I talk, you get me hyped up.
LFG.
Oh yeah. So awesome, Sean. Thanks for joining us. Can't wait to hear more about what you guys are doing and kind of how it goes into the topic today with RWAs. And William, what's up, William? What's up, brother? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. I've been doing a lot of things. I've been in the space since 2017. I started off as a developer advocate because I had a software engineering background of like 9 years before I entered into crypto. started translating things like technical papers to like marketing and community. Eventually figured out I liked working with people a little bit more than I liked working with code. So I made the switch and started doing marketing and community work. And I've worked for some of the largest companies in the space, marketing agencies and such like that. I probably helped start up like 22 different startups within Web3 space so far, and about $200 million worth of funding rounds, roughly. More recently, I've switched over to working with startups and VCs and getting startups funded, helping them with pitch decks, introducing them to angels, VCs, whatever I can do to make the process of building out your startup a little bit easier. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I'm doing. I've helped grow one RWA community. I've helped fund two more RWA projects, and excited to see where the space goes from here.
Awesome. So basically, everybody, if you don't know William, William is a one-man team. He does it all. So thanks, William, for joining us, brother. Appreciate it. And I saw Gallon came up here, but he's gone. So he'll be back, I'm sure. Plutope, Saf, I take it you're with us today. What's up, Saf?
Yeah. Sorry for the delay. Actually, something urgent came up. Sorry for joining late. So yeah, my name is Saf, and yeah, I'll go into the marketing and operations of PlutoPay. And PlutoPay is an uncustodied crypto wallet. We provide on-ramp and off-ramp services within the wallet itself. And besides that, we also have other product that is crypto debit card. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to solve one of the major issues in crypto as of now, that users don't have the ability to spend their crypto in real life. So we are providing them with a card that's powered by Visa, and basically you can spend your crypto as conveniently as if it was fiat throughout the world wherever Visa is accepted. And our virtual card is already live, so in the testing phase, and probably by the end of this month, I think it will be live and available to the users. Uh, that's from my side.
Awesome, Saf. Pleasure to have you again. Love your crypto card. I just need to get me one. Is it you? Can people in the U.S. use it? Do you have to KYC?
Yeah. You can use it in US as well. No issues.
Okay, gotcha. I'll just need to get one then for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Okay.
brother.
I will send you the link. I think personally you can. I actually have the card now.
Oh, nice. All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Saf. All right.
Okay.
Excellent. I think that's everybody. Let's get into these topics. I've been waiting all day for this, and now's the time. So, here's the first question, guys. If you guys have the answer or you have some insights, just raise your hand, and we'll go from there. So, just to start off at the ground floor, how would you describe asset tokenization? With real world assets, and what are the primary advantages behind it? Yes, John.
Yeah, tokenization of the real world assets is where everything is moving, right? If you look at the transition and way everything's been going, the ETFs was a start, but this was the start that was public. This was what was public to everybody and the general public and what people had been seeing. But this entire bear cycle, they've been shoving down everybody's throat. Crypto's unsafe. Stay away from crypto. Crypto's bad. But the whole time that they were doing this, all the financial institutions were buying this up, right? They were positioning themselves to get ready for it. And if all the crypto bros and all the people that have been in Web3, they knew something was afoot, right? We knew what was going on because we know their freaking game. They instill that panic, that fear to make sure that, they can grab their positions at the best possible rate, right? Right in time. And I don't know if you guys remember, but it was like a year ago or a year and a half ago where they were announcing that they were going to be tokenizing stocks and bonds. So they were talking about and washing around the idea of tokenizing stocks. And the stock market, that's the global stock market. New York Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ, and all these other companies that actually do open trading, they were talking and entertaining the idea of tokenizing stocks and bonds. So this was the first tall tale sign that I saw that something big was coming. And then the ETF started getting announced, ETFs started coming out, and now you're starting to see a lot of other companies trying to figure out a way to tokenizing hard assets. Hard assets is something that a lot of people, undervalue when it comes to the digital space. And the reason why they do is because a lot of people are very centric in what they do for finance. So there's different aspects for finance. You got stocks, you have hard assets like houses, real estates, cars. Then you have the other assets that you put into, like let's say fundings, hedge funds. You put it into, let's say, Roth IRAs and other investments like that. But you can see the transition of wealth whenever we're in a bear cycle. So the bear cycle, the money moves from one industry to the next. And you really see the huge influx. When everybody was scared during COVID, a lot of the money went from stocks, bonds, crypto, all the digital and paper trade, and they moved it over to hard assets to secure their position, to hold their value. And you saw the huge real estate boom where people were paying freaking 50 to 100% over market value, right? And now that you're seeing that influx die down, money's going to start transitioning back over. And we're seeing that right now. So the tokenization of assets and real world assets and just hard assets in general, it's already happening. Everybody's already positioning themselves in that way. And I think the next step after ETFs is a lot of these global industries and these hedge fund companies and these financial institutions is they're going to be positioning themselves to actually, get into those hard asset tokenization projects and actually tokenizing their hard assets, their real world assets, and anything and everything in between. So I think all of us up here are positioned and already have the technology in place, and integration is going to be a lot easier for these hedge funds, financial institutions, and everybody alike to actually transition over into the hard assets. This is what is going to be the next catalyst for crypto and decentralization as a whole, just the DeFi space as a whole. So I'm hoping that everybody has intellectual property rights over their ideas, and you got your patents going, and everything else. I've positioned myself with that. I got my patents, I got intellectual property rights, I got copyrights. I made sure I got the legal steps in place first, so that way when everything does transition over, they're going to have to come to me first in order to do so. So that's one thing that everybody's overlooking right now, is everybody's moving for these high dollar, high ticket value assets like stocks, bonds. They're doing ETFs, they're doing real estate, they're doing cars, but everybody's overlooking the 95%. I positioned myself to take that 95% of the world influx of income and money in the transactions, which is consumerism, and I'm working on tokenizing that as well. So this is something that a lot of people are going to be needing and using in the future, in the near future, because when everything starts going more digital, we're already in the space. We've already etched out our little corner, right? So if you create that corner and you corner your corner, you are already going to be poised to win in this next bull cycle, and that's my personal opinion. But I mean, we've already seen it. The evidence is there. ETFs are rolling out like crazy. You had the Bitcoin, you got the Ethereum. Next is most likely going to be Solana. I mean, there was an announcement earlier today, and it's just going to continue down that road. So, I'm really freaking excited. I'm very, very, very excited. And yeah, man, that's pretty much my opinion on the whole real assets and tokenization.
Sure. Yeah, very, very interesting. Matt, please.
I think I'll start by mentioning that, tokenization is effectively the digitization of a hard good, like digital was mentioning, treasure. What should I call you, by the way? Because I feel like I heard your name earlier, but I don't remember it right now.
So my name in DeFi is Cotton, but my real name is Eric. So whichever you prefer.
So Cotton, I know you, but treasure.
Oh,
Sean,
okay, gotcha.
it's Sean.
Sean. So Sean Cotton. Okay, cool.
Other people know me as Crazy K or Krazik. Some people call it Krazik. They think it's exotic. It's not. It's Crazy K, but it's Crazy K or Sean.
My guy's crazy.
So crazy.
I you made a good point about the whole mass, like big money component. I think you're positioning yourself for the smaller guys, or the 95% that you're mentioning. It's very similar to what we're doing at the Forge. We're looking to bring, effectively build a DeFi protocol. Like the tech is here, so we need to, or the opportunity is here. We need to build something, build a lending protocol and just put money through it. And not a lot of folks are doing that. You have big dogs like Centrifuge, Maple Finance. I used to work for TrueFi. We were working with all institutional guys, institutional funds. A lot of those institutions were on chain, like your Alameda, which is now obviously defunct. But we had a lot of there's a lot of institutions that are on chain, and I actually recently learned that something like 85%, some egregious number of transactions on Ethereum, or the volume on Ethereum, is done by institutions. And that's like that's nothing. It's no joke. So the stats are very clear that institutions are already here. It's just kind of where can the little guy come in? And I think that positioning yourself right now in order to get into a place so that during the bull run, for instance, at the end when people claim profits and they want to hold their money on chain, something like tokenized debt, which is something that we're building, is going to be huge, because you'll be able to effectively park your stables into a vehicle that allows you to earn risk-adjusted returns over a long period of time. I think to touch on, what are the advantages of tokenization, it's these are one of them. It's kind of like, it's interesting because I started off talking about, it's effectively you're digitizing everything. But if you imagine, I guess to explain it like I'm 5, right? Like if you have a cake and everyone wants a slice of it, you can slice off little pieces of the cake, and everyone gets a piece of the pie. The thing with the institutions is that right now it's kind of like they're all trying to eat up as much of the pie of the cake, and they don't want to share. So I think it's cool, kind of like, the builders in the space are actually doing something on a smaller scale that helps create real impact in real people's lives, versus the whole institutional component of it. I think I'm much more clearly bullish on that, and building in that space. Obviously, the rails that Wall Street is creating here to take advantage of the situation and build out a position for themselves is happening before our eyes. And we all knew it was coming. The thing is, now that it's here, it's kind of like, oh shit, this is really happening. How do we safeguard this moving forward? Anyway, tokenization wise, yeah, I think it's a really awesome opportunity. Sean was just mentioning, there's such this massive wealth transfer happening. It's almost damn near impossible for the average American to buy a house nowadays. Maybe the tokenization of assets is going to be the way people can kind of harness that long lost energy and capture opportunity for themselves again. I'll pause there because I'll just like start ranting, but I think that's like a very powerful kind of takeaway that I just had from Sean's answer here just a second ago.
And I would like to just add, I want to just insert a thought right in between what Sean and Matt had said is whenever you have all of this liquidity coming on, being tokenized, and there's so many different ways to use it, along with controlling the atmosphere that it's being used in, instead of creating a debt poised ecosystem. It's now an equity kind of reliant system. And that's whenever, that's like, oh, wow, no, it's going to be like people are going to have this money, they're going to owe this money, but they're going to be making money on the money that they owe. And it's just like, it's like completely backwards of how Web 2 treats us, in terms of like the debt that we owe. It really should be, yes, it's our asset, it's our liquid asset that can be used to generate capital, and the banks are using those assets to generate capital, not us. And now we get to generate that capital. Yes, Sean.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting factors that play a part in this whole tokenizing of assets, because if you think about real estate already has the full integrations when it comes to the way that they do traditional trading, right? You go to the bank, you get a loan, the bank goes to the Federal Reserve to get that loan. They back that loan from the Federal Reserve against your social, and they basically give your money back to you in the form of a house loan, and the bank holds it, right? But with crypto, there is no Federal Reserve. There is no debt backing it, right? So the money that is going to be used and utilized is going to be a positive cash flow. There is no creation. There is no hyperinflation. There is no printing per se. That's pretty much where they're trying to figure out how they can hedge it in their favor, and I don't think that there is going to be a way for them to be able to do that. Now, when it comes to real estate, what are they going to do in, like, let's say 5 to 10 years from now, right? Is the integration going to come to where they're going to have every single county in the United States tokenizing property, right? So when you go to the county clerk's office to make a title transfer, deed transfer, or something like that, is going to be tokenized. Are they going to have the systems in place? Is it going to be city by city, county by county, state by state? This is some of the hurdles that are going to have to be addressed at some point. And I know that there is quite a few companies, because I've gone to a few meetups and I've talked to a few different companies about the way they're tokenizing deeds for houses, right? They've done it successfully in a few other countries. In the United States, I've heard of maybe two or three where they were successfully able to do it, and I think they did it in a form of like an NFT. But when you think about how they're going to do it through like the county clerk's office, right? Or when they do it through let's say the tax adjusters or the appraisal district office, what is going to be the ultimate catalyst to push everybody over the edge and say, okay, yeah, we're going to do full integration in every county or every state or every country, right? This is something that's going to be a huge undertaking, and it's going to be something that's really big on a global scale to actually push them in that direction. And it's a smarter move. I know it's a smarter move. Everybody knows it's a smarter move. A lot of these places are still using old analog PCs, the old, what was it, the Macintoshes, this freaking typewriter bullshit. So it's needed in the space, and is definitely needed as on a global scale. But I think there's a lot of hurdles that still need to be addressed when it comes to, tokenizing, the real world and hard assets. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Absolutely, very interesting, Matt.
It's funny that you mentioned the whole analog thing, right? An old business partner of mine. So I used to flip houses in Colorado, and I thought it was so cool that you were able to check out distressed properties before they got put on the open market for foreclosure, through like the clerk and county's website. And that was the first time I ever got exposure to something like that. So for me, it was just like, okay, this is the norm. And then, I ended up moving out of there. My business partner ended up moving out, heads over to North Carolina, and talk about, going back in time. Like he went and tried to, lean into the same process and find out where the distressed property list is, and like engage in finding out this data. Guess what the data was listed on a whiteboard in the clerk's office. You walk into the office and it's literally on a whiteboard showing the up and coming houses that are going into foreclosure, handwritten. And once you find the house, like let's say you want to look into a particular property, that property had a name next to, or a number next to it with the case ID. You then had to take that case ID, turn around, and go into multiple aisles of folders. Just like imagine like a library, like rows and rows and rows upon folders that had all of these case files of, delinquent homes going into foreclosure, and that's how you had to find out the information about these houses. It's so antiquated. It's so out of date. It's terribly inefficient. The unfortunate thing here is, and I think one of the biggest hurdles that we need to recognize as an industry is how do we overcome that, right? Because government is, and government is as government does. They're not going to want to move away from this. Those people don't want change. They don't want innovation. That threatens their job security. They want things to stay the way they are so that they can continue making their money and their livelihood in the way that they are. Elon said recently a very factual thing. It's like if you want innovation, like take away regulation, and you that's one thing. And the second thing was that government is very inefficient. Like if you want something to get something done, if you want to innovate, you are more likely to get success in the private sector. This is just like the perfect thing, and I don't know what that hurdle will be. Is it something like big private job that they're gonna have to like get in cahoots with the local government in order to convert the antiquated system into a new system? And then when they do, how far behind is it actually to like the norm? So yeah, it's going off of what Sean was saying earlier, it's a very wild thought exercise to kind of go through in your mind. We're living kind of in this future tech, like cutting edge technology world, and to us it just seems like black and white, obvious. But it takes a lot longer for the world to catch up. And I think that we can create our own systems and have them work in our own capacities, but once we get penetration on the government level, I think we're very, very far from that.
Definitely. Yes, William.
Yeah, so kind of a random take here. I used to be a GIS analyst. That may not mean a lot to people here, but basically I dealt with all the parcels, anything that was geographic that needed to be displayed on like a online map. And basically I dealt with all the parcels and the sales, and just dealt with like all the permitting as well for different cities. And yeah, I mean, I think in general, especially as an example, I live in California, a lot of uh, city entities are having to switch over to electronic maps. So I think like it may vary from, state to state, but for the most part, a lot of people are getting away from those weird, paper maps or whiteboard, as as you've said. I've never heard of that before, but usually, it used to be in like a drawer somewhere about some property that's going under. But I think things are definitely headed towards a more digital future, and I think that RWA kind of allows us to do it. I think one of the fun things I found when I was working for an RWA project back in 22, it actually wasn't even really called RWA back then. It's a pretty new term to me, or at least like a keyword that everybody's throwing around. But we raised like a little under 400K for a house, and we had it broken out into different tokens, and we basically closed on the house within about 2 weeks. It took about, and we had about 4,000 members, and everybody pitched in, and everybody was able to, get rent on a quarterly basis paid to their account. And we get our like IRS filings. I think they're like K1s, I believe, every year. And honestly, I myself, being a young guy, could have never imagined owning any sort of real estate property at this age, especially with the way my credit score is. When I joined the military, I got sucked into all the credit cards, and I was like, "Oh, you're telling me this is just free money and I don't have to pay it back?" Well, that's definitely not the case. That I've learned many, many years later. But like I said, it really allowed me to, kind of get into real estate and do my own research and feel like I'm actually part of something, like a community of people who are, just supporting each other. And, that doesn't exist everywhere.
Yo, let me just jump in real quick. What car did you get? Did you fall into the Charger trap?
I bought a RX-8, which I'm not sure if many people know what an RX-8 is, but it's like a rotary engine, so it's not your normal combustion engine. So it eats up oil. The engine fails over time. It didn't pass the smog certification, which is just basically saying like my catalytic converter wasn't working really well, so I actually didn't pass a state inspection, and I had to get it fixed for 4K. So after spending 9K on a sporty car, I had to spend another 4K redoing my whole exhaust. And apparently, the dealer that sold that to me wasn't legally allowed to sell me a car that wouldn't pass that California test. So yeah, lots of
Love
fun learning.
the military poaching, man. It's a thing. They do it out
It
here in
is. It is.
wild.
It is wild, and going back to a few things that William said, with being able to, well, I'm not sure all the things you said. You had a lot of good insights, man. Sorry about that, but like being able to track a property, going back to what Matt said, being able to track a property and understand what's going on, and especially like say you want to buy a property in like a third world country or really anywhere in the world. It's really trying to figure out like all the paperwork and understand like who owns the property and what's going on with the property, and what a better way to keep all that on chain and see the history of it. No one can tamper with the documents on chain and everything. And I just actually met a country the other day. The country is called Liberland. I don't remember exactly where it is in the world, but check it out. Liberland. They just launched their own token. They have their own DAO for their own community. They make decisions, for like new buildings, where the funding goes, all on the blockchain. They pay their taxes through the blockchain. Absolutely everything is governed through the blockchain. Everything is shown through transparency. They reward their community for doing certain things, tasks through the community. Think about like a real world like Zeely thing through this country. So they've got so many different things going on. New houses get put on the blockchain, the deeds. So it's really interesting, how it can be constructed for a transparent, fair government. Because really the community is the government in Liberland, and that's the way it should be everywhere. So going back to some of the topics, whenever it comes to illiquid assets, what kind of advantages are there for bringing liquidity onto blockchain opposed to just leaving liquidity to the bank, in Web 2? Any insights there, guys? Yeah, Sean.
Yeah, there's a lot of safety and security factors that play a part in that. I think a lot of people feel more safe with putting it on the blockchain. I speak from a crypto enthusiast standpoint. A lot of people still don't realize how financial institutions work. They don't realize that their money goes into the financial institution and they're only regulated to hold 10% of that. So if you put $100,000 in, only $10,000 stays. The other 90% goes out. They take it, they reloan it to the next guy. The next guy goes and deposit his check, and then they keep 10,000, they take 80,000 and they put it out. Well, 10% of that. So it'd be like 90,000. It just continues on like that. It's a continuous cycle of printing, right? So they reflect that you have 100,000, but they only hold 10,000 of that. And they continue to accrue that debt and accrue the printing. And at the end of the day, it gets transmitted like 100,000 times, and it just keeps on going down and down and down and down the cycle. So this is why we're so far in debt, because the way that laws work now is they're only required to hold like 5 to 10% of your actual money in the bank. If you go and try to take out $1 million, they have to come up with it. They always give you an excuse. They say, why do you need it, right? Why do you have to take it? They'll give you a cashier's check, and they're fine with a cashier's check because it's digital. They just put ones and zeros, right? But if you go and try to take the cash out, there is no cash backing. There is no hard backing. There is no gold standard. There is no actual physical backing of your assets other than digital and showing you ones and zeros on the screen coding. That's it. And the banks continue to do this, and this is how they accrue their debt. This is how they make their money. So what crypto does is it gives you the security that there is a backing. There is a hard cap. There is no printing. There is no continuous dilution of the actual asset itself, because they're not printing it, they're not fabricating it, they're not creating more and more and more. There is no regulations as far as how much they can hold and then how much they can print and then reloan to the next guy. So if you take that original 100,000 and you loan it to the next guy, they're loaning out 90,000, and the next guy's loaning out 81,000 or 79,000, something like that. And then it continues on down that line. So that $100,000 ends up creating, millions of dollars in actual funds for the financial institutions when it was only $100,000 to start with. So that $100,000 got created into millions of dollars, and it doesn't help anybody but the financial institutions continuously accruing debt. So you've seen a lot of those banks fall as of recent. I mean, there was hundreds of banks going under and having to get bailed out as of recent, and then it's because people are waking up to the fact that their money is not their money, and their money has never been their money, and the only way to actually have that security in holding your money and knowing that you actually have the hard assets in your possession is going decentralized. That's where I am really huge on, and really huge in the DeFi space, is knowing that I have control of my money. I have control of my assets. I don't have to worry about going in and trying to take it out and saying, hey, there's not enough funds here. You're going to have to come back in 3 to 4 business days because we have to come up with the money.
I know that personally, I used to have a mentor, and he had this problem. He dealt with this problem personally on a weekly basis, and he went to go withdraw, an amount of money, and they told him that he could not do that. You're not allowed to. You need to give us a little bit of advance to do so, and it's just ridiculous. And do banks, show you how much money that they have in liquidity to be able to, for you to pull out, other than like, say you look on the blockchain and this specific protocol has this amount of liquidity, on, shown transparency. So exactly that your money is safe, your money is available for you to withdraw however you please. And, things like that. It's just like those pain points are going to start to come out more and more and more and more whenever we're able to see the other side, and be able to see all the benefits and see all the real ways of governing and accessing this liquidity. So it's a very interesting subject to get into. Okay, and so whenever it comes to the process of asset tokenization, there's so many different assets out there. Yes, Matt, go ahead.
I have an interesting use case to share with the audience. I think if you're just local, if you're just local in your state, in your country, wherever you are, it's not that big of a deal to send money to someone, but it still is. And what do I mean by that? It still takes 2 to 3 days for you to actually get your liquid cash into your bank account so that you can use it to pay your bills, whatever it is. when you go and, for instance, try to do cross-border payments, so this is like a great example. My wife is not an American. I still pay my wife rent every month because we live together and we split the rent. I have to take money from my US bank account and somehow get it over to her. The best solution that I was able to find after going through many different products out here in Europe was Revolut. Revolut is the fastest available app that offers almost instant liquidity. If I want to use my bank account, I still need to wait 5 business days for it to get drained out of my bank account and sent over to her. And then once she gets it in her Revolut account, she can then drain it into her own, withdraw the funds into her own bank account here locally in Europe, in Portugal. You can imagine if you do that on a Thursday and it takes 5 business days for this transfer to complete, you're waiting upwards of 7 days for this thing to kick. Sometimes it goes maybe a day earlier, but most of the time it's literally the maximum amount. So I got to thinking recently, it's like, hey, well, she is starting to, buy her salami here and there and buy her Ethereums here and there. And so I've offered, like, why don't I just pay you in stables or in Solana or Ethereum? And last month we ended up doing that, and it's so much smoother. My God, it's been an eye-opening experience for me. It's almost silly to think like, oh, why didn't you think of it earlier? But when you're onboarding someone and they're going through their own, Web3 onboarding process, you don't want to like just cram them with overload of this new ecosystem, financial ecosystem that they've never had exposure to. So it just recently became appropriate, and it's become so much easier. It's just like I send stables to her wallet. Stables are connected to her bank account on the centralized exchange, and she's able to withdraw it, and she gets it the next day. It's so much easier when you're dealing with cross-border payments, and this is, the original thesis behind Bitcoin. It makes life so much easier when you're thinking about more, worldwide transactions and stuff like that, use case. It's right on the nose of what you were talking about earlier, Cotton. The friction and the waiting for banks to send you the money, and then Sean was saying the 10% that they hold on, and they tell you they don't want to give you the cash because it's always somewhere in the system, and they need to liquidate something in order to get you the money. Unfortunately, that's how the banking system works, and you have to sit and tap your foot, for days, weeks sometimes to get these things. And then, we're not even talking about Swift right now, trying to make a wire transaction with cash across, going from like the US to Europe. Like that's also a headache too. So anyway, that's my kind of value add there, my point rather. I know you're probably going to jump to the next question, but yeah, I'll just mute myself and we can keep it cruising.
Yes, and there are so many hoops that you have to jump through in order to make that happen to transfer funds, and that just happens for liquidity too. And yes, Saf, please.
Yeah. So that's a real problem that Matt was mentioning. So I wanted to jump in because Plutobase does the same. We offer the same solution that you said, and in a much convenient way. So basically, that you said about the payment. So if you have a Plutopay wallet, and what you can do is basically whatever amount of funds you want to send in Ethereum, BTC, or any other stable coins, you just send the funds. And if you have the Plutopay debit card that's powered by Visa, so instantly you receive the funds, and instantly you can pay by the card. So it's that simple as that, and I think it will be much faster and cheaper. And if you are using a Plutopay's debit card, we also provide you cashback on spends up to 3.5%, depending on the amount of the transaction. So basically, it's a win-win, and yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Before, we didn't think we had those resources, and now we can start seeing these very simple, solutions that a lot of people don't know that they exist, or they think that, they assume or whatever. And these stories that keep on coming out of the ease and the simpler processes to make this happen and faster and cheaper. It's just a matter of time until people are like, oh, wow, everyone has their aha moment. It takes a while for them to see it, but eventually that'll come out and people are like, okay, great. I'm just going to do this and no need to have the banks anymore, kind of thing. Because just like Utope, they have their own credit card or they have their own debit card. You don't even have to offboard into the bank anymore. You can pay with your debit card for everything. So super, super easy. And JR, I saw you come up. What's up, brother?
Hello. Thanks for giving me the opportunity.
Oh,
So I do have a question. So I don't know if I could ask now or
yes,
probably
go ahead, man. You can ask your question, please.
later.
Oh, you can
My
ask the
question
question.
is
Go
to
ahead, JR.
the
You can ask the question, please.
Yes.
All right, yeah. So my question is to the product P. So So I'm curious to know how the development of the smart contracts is being done in your plan. How do you also facilitate the tokenization process for reward assets?
So we don't deal with tokenization of real world assets. Basically, Plutopay is a non-custodial wallet, and the part in where we are providing debit cards, that part is custodial. Because we have to deal with banks. So how this transaction work is, whenever you purchase a debit card, so we give you an IBAN number. Basically, IBANs are international banking account. So against your card, you get an IBAN number, and through that you are able to send your crypto anywhere. And the receiver who receives the crypto, and if they have a Pluto wallet and they have a card, so that fund you just need to transfer from the wallet, or you can directly transfer from card to card or via a crypto wallet to the card, and they can instantly withdraw that. So, but the RWA or the tokenization concept is not here because we don't deal with that. It's just a normal like a trust wallet or a MetaMask, you can say. Besides that, the extra thing would be that we have added a special thing, that's crypto debit card, to ease out the payment. And a gap that's existing in the crypto as of now is the accessibility and use of crypto in day-to-day life. So that we are addressing this via our partnership with Visa. And I think probably in 10 to 15 days or by the end of this month, you can order the card and you can do the transaction very easily.
Nice. Thanks for the question, JR. Appreciate you, man. And as we're getting close to the end here, I really don't want to cut off this space and be done talking to you guys because I could literally just talk about this all day, like 8 hours of straight RWA talk, because there's just so many different avenues of benefits of why why this is going to be a massive transition. And as we lead into the last question, there was a simple there was a tweet that I saw from I think President Trump Jr. or I'm sorry, Trump Jr. He had mentioned something about the RWA space potentially reaching like $16 trillion by 2030, and it's just we're just scratching the surface in terms of like the how everything's going to look. Like we're just beginning. This is just the beginning of this transition. So what is your guys' predictions for the future of asset tokenization over the next few years, even like the next 5 years? What do you imagine it looking like? Oh yes, Gallon.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, what's up, man? I was hoping you would dip up here.
Yeah, I was up and down, so I was joining and signing out. But yeah, great question. What do we think? I actually mentioned last time we spoke that I'm joining a platform, and that platform is actually something similar to what this conversation is about. It's about tokenizing reward assets, and not specifically the hard assets, but more towards the stocks. So being able to buy Tesla stocks, Apple stocks with tokens, and I'll be looking into helping out this company and try to bring it up to life. But for the question itself, how would it look like in the near future or in the longer future? Well, I think in Turkey, Istanbul, on their part, they have already implemented the payment systems of the Web3 space. So you can go there, you can buy yourself whatever you wish with crypto. And with the speed that this thing is starting to expand now, it's gonna be very soon that we'll be able to see more expansion of the digital assets and the worldwide assets, the physical assets, like being able to buy houses, being able to buy cars. This is already being done in some very restricted spaces, we can say that. But so that it is gonna be allowed everywhere in the world. So I'm not gonna be surprised to be able to go in most of the countries and be able to just buy anything that you wish. So not only the stocks, but buy yourself a house, buy a car, buy a bicycle, or whatever that is. Yeah, that's just the start now, and I would give it 5 years, and it's gonna be much more expanded. You'll be able to do that pretty much everywhere.
Oh yeah, and just imagine like being able to have fractional ownership of like 30 different houses in 30 different countries, all on the blockchain. You have, it's just be super easy. Yes, Sean.
Yeah, integrations here. We're already progressing in that direction. I definitely believe that tokenization of real world assets is upon us. It's only a matter of time. It's happening a lot more rapid than everybody was thinking, and I don't think it's going to take until 2030, as some people are suggesting. I mean, tokenization is already happening across the chain. There's so many other serious chains that are currently doing it right now. They're working with a lot of financial institutions to tokenizing, mortgages, insurance, properties. A lot of these guys are making a name for themselves, man, and it's a great thing to see. It really is. It's a really good thing to see. So, making sure that you're transparent, making sure that you have a real organization that is actually going to be a standalone and stick out from the rest of the guys. I think it's paramount to what everybody is doing, and from everything that I've heard so far, everybody's got their own little niche, and you're making a name for yourself in that space, and being the first one in and the trendsetter is it's gonna pay off in the long run. I really do. I believe that wholeheartedly, and it is still the Wild West, the DeFi space in general, but having that intellectual property and being the first ones in the space to have that legal ground, it saves you a lot of grief in the long run, because once you get to the big financial institutions and a lot of the bigger corporate money flowing in, they're going to try to do the same. And, royalties are a great thing.
Oh my gosh, royalties are massive. Think about back in the day whenever you could have got a spot with Coca-Cola or something like that. Buffett's bringing in like $500 million a year in royalties. Yes, Matt.
First of all, I want to say thank you so much for. I'm glad we finally aligned and got on a call on a space together. It's been so nice to get to know you on a audio level now, and it's a pleasure to meet all the new guys or new faces for me. I'll follow up in the Telegram chat with you guys. So that's kind of like my sign off and goodbye, because I have to run to another call. But I imagine that the future of this whole thing in 2 to 5 years, more products will be online. More financial products will be available to the average Web3 user, that can hopefully offer them the opportunity to recapture some of what was lost in the TradFi world because of the massive gap between the wealthy and the poor that's going on at this time. And I imagine on a deeper level, with the ecosystems that exist at that point, they'll have financial products and tools and resources to help educate people on how to use them, as well as educate themselves to empower those users to actually know how to use these products, versus just like throwing their money at someone and hoping that it works for the best. That's a bullish side, but also the bearish side. There will be scams and failed projects and hacks and lost money that comes with all of this, unfortunately. So it's a double-edged sword, but the only way that we're going to get there is to keep going and put our heads down and keep building that future. So again, thank you so much. Happy to come back whenever. Let's keep in touch. I'm just going to mute myself while I jump into my next call, just to help support you guys. But talk to y'all soon, okay?
Thanks, man. Pleasure to talk to you as well. Thanks for joining us. Nice. Love the insights, guys. And if anybody else has anything to say, jump on in. But if not, I'm going to go ahead and conclude the space, and we're going to get into the giveaways. We got two prizes, each for $25 in USDT each. So let me just go ahead and go to my Twitter picker real quick. You had to like, retweet, and comment to get an entry into the giveaway. And so let me just click on this button here. I've already got the tweet inserted. And the winners are, the first one is all right, James _ you got like a little PFP with some red glasses. Let's see if you're in here. If you're not, you're not gonna be able to get the prize, man. Let's see here. All right. If you want to request to speak now that I know, so I know that you're in here. Okay, I don't see you. All right, the next one is Henry. Henry is Gayon Bitcoin X. Henry, if you want to request to speak, so I know that you're in here. Well, I'm not sure if relying on these individuals to be in the space live is that adequate to do it next time. It takes a little bit. Doesn't look like we have those. I'm gonna have to redraw. All right. Let's see here. CS Chitty. CS. You know what? I'm literally gonna pick two more, and if you guys aren't in here, then I'm not sure. I'll just have to pick somebody from the audience. Personally. Give me 1 second here. JR wants to come back up here and get the prize. You might just get it today, my brother. 1 second. All right, let me try one more redraw. Matt Hardy. Matt Frankfile. Are you in here? Request to speak. You have 10 seconds to request to speak, or I'm just going to pick somebody from the audience and I'm going to bring you up here, and we're going to get this done.
It's also possible that there is a little bit of delay between us as speakers and then listeners, so they might not be able to do it that fast. Just a heads up.
Well, I don't accept excuses, Gallon. Period. Yeah, for sure. All right, we got everybody requesting. So you requesters that are requesting right now, I'm not sure if I'm going to pick you or not. Do you guys want to? Let's see here. Let me find just one person. All right. You know what? I just like your PFP. So JK93391. If you're listening, go ahead and request to speak, and we'll go ahead and get you your prize. And then, all right. And JR, since you penetrated the speakers earlier, well, that didn't sound right. Since you got through the speaker panel, we'll go ahead and bring you up here, and we'll get you your prize. All you have to do is send me Web3M a message, private DM, and we'll get you your prize after the call. So JR, congratulations on your prize. That's let me just make sure. I'll just bring you up to the panel. 1 second. JR, you won the prize. And then no need to speak or anything. I just want to bring you up here to make sure that you guys know that you won. So JR, you won, and Sparta, you won as well. So both of you send me a DM, Web3M, to get your prize afterwards, and we'll send it to you as soon as we can. So thanks so much, everybody, for joining us today. It was a pleasure. Digital treasure. Matt, he had to leave a little bit early, but that's all good. Awesome insights, guys. William, William, the one-man show, and Gallon is building some awesome projects. Go follow all these cats. They're bringing some value to the space. And thanks so much, everybody. If you guys have any closing remarks before we end, jump up here and say your byes. But if not, no problem. Awesome. All right. Cheers, everybody. Have a good rest of your week. Bye-bye.
Bye.